that hill represents everything that I thought I couldn't do. Because what I realize is when you do one thing you think you can't do, you'll start to believe you can do everything.
Welcome to the Zami Nobla National Organization of Black Lesbians on Aging podcast. We are your sound source for Black lesbian herstory. I'm your host, Angela Denise Davis.
My name is Cynthia McKinney. I'm a talker. I don't meet strangers. I think one of the neatest things about me is I have the capacity to make just about anybody talk to me. I've helped people mother their children. I don't have children of my own. So I've kind of other-mothered several children that either came here for college or I have 3 amazing godchildren.
Well, we are so glad that you are here today as part of the Zami Nobla podcast as we celebrate the end of 2018 and all the wonderful things that have happened with the podcast and with our incredible guests, including yourself.
Thank you.
I am excited you're here because I saw your Facebook post and I knew immediately that we had to have you on the podcast. You were talking about just the success you've had in managing your health this year and some of the fitness goals you've been able to reach. And I saw that as an immediate connection with the conversations we've been having on the Zami Nobla Facebook group, talking about how we can do better. And we even had a fitness challenge that I kind of led and it kind of fell apart. So when I saw your post, I'm like, oh my God, we need Cynthia. Where's Cynthia? And so I want to talk about how you came to the point of where you are now. And what was it that really inspired you to take hold of your health this year?
I went on a cruise in March, and we were on the cruise, and I was with my coworker and her daughter. And the day we got off the ship, they had to wait for me. I had to stop a couple of times to, just get myself together. And they were like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then I realized that everywhere we went, the first thing I would do was look for somewhere to sit. Now, I've had a total knee replacement, so I can kind of put it on that. Mm-hmm. And when we got back to go back on the ship, the line was extremely long, and I just knew I couldn't stand in that line. So I went and I sat with this lady who was probably in her 70s. So she and I are sitting there, and we're sitting there waiting on, the people that our party to get up, and then we'll board the ship with them. And I started to feel like this can't be my life. I'm 54 years old. Well, 53 at the time. This cannot be my life. And I have a small kitchen, and I was finding myself in the middle of sweeping my kitchen, having to take a break. And then I was going to the doctor, and every time I would go to the doctor, my weight was going higher and higher and higher. And I've always been full figured, but I've always stayed around a certain weight. But my weight was going higher and higher and higher. And the last time in March when I'd gone, I told the doctor, I said, something's going on because I've never been this heavy. So she looked at my medications, and I was taking anastrozole. It's the 5-year chemo pill for breast cancer. And she said, it's your medication. She said, one of the side effects of this is it causes weight gain. Mm. Well, I was already battling, wrestling, and, trying to figure out if I really wanted to take the pill in the first place. So I made a conscious decision to stop taking it. And I talked to my doctor. I told her, why I wanted to stop taking it. And she said, I agree with everything you said. It's your choice. And I stopped taking it. And then at that point I said, but I understand that I have to do the things that I need to do to try to at least have a hold on my health. So I sat down with a nutritionist in May. And that's when I started to look at, the foods that I eat and trying to exercise. But another thing that contributed to my decision to start this journey, I went back and I found my grandmother's obituary. My entire life, my grandmother was sick. And I remember when she passed away, my parents had been married 37 years. And my mom said, 37 years ago when I married your father, she was going to a specialist in Little Rock for something. And my grandmother was obese, and we literally dressed her for everything she did. We would put her undergarments on, put lotion on her feet, put her pantyhose on, and put her earrings on, her wig, brush it. We literally dressed her. And other than just going from chair to bed or from the house to the car, she was pretty much immobile. And I went and I found her obituary, the time frame where I stayed with her when my other siblings were in school and I wasn't. When I did the math, she was my age. And had no, limited mobility. And she was my age. She was around 54, 55. And I called my best friend and I said, Arnetta, I did the math, and Mama Ruby was my age. And I'm like, I plan to live another 50 years and I can't do it like this. I'm not going to. So that's when, like I said, I sat down with a nutritionist, and that turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. And exercise, I had joined Planet Fitness, me and a coworker. No, first of all, we started walking, and we were so inconsistent. It was the summer months, and this was last year. We were so inconsistent. It's too hot. It's too late in the day. By 9:00, it could be 100 degrees here in Atlanta.
Right.
And she and I both worked the evenings, so I could get up and go early, but she wanted to go like 10 o'clock because she'd stay up till 5 a.m. in the morning after we got off at midnight. But so we stopped, and then we joined. They put a Planet Fitness right up from my house. And I think I went for like maybe 5 times. And then I said, I'm going to walk again. And my best friend, she said, I'll help you. I'll go with you. So she started to go out to the track with me, but she had so much going on. And anytime she said she couldn't go, I didn't go. But I realized I'm better by myself. I'm better on my own. And so this particular time, it was the 7th of May, the same day that I sat down with the nutritionist. I went out to the track and I started walking. And I was really just kind of strolling. And I strolled around maybe twice. And then I got up to 4 laps. So after that, and I was just strolling, just very slowly. And then I decided to add a lap each week. So each week I'd add an additional lap. And then I got up to 3 miles. And then there's a really, really steep hill. There's an incline I walk over at Mays High School. And there's this hill, they call it Heart Attack Hill. And one day I said, you know what, I'm going to do the hill. And so I started and I said, and there's same people out there every day. So there's this guy, he's like, you don't have to do it all in one day. He said, why don't you just mark your spot, go there, turn around and come back. So I did that. So I marked the spot, one of the little speed bumps, and I went there and I turned around, and next day, actually, I don't think it was even the next day because I was in so much pain. It was probably the next week. And then like the third time I got to the edge of this drainage pipe. And I realized I only had one more incline. And I said, I can do this. So I did the hill. So I said, well, I'll do the hill at least once a week. Other than, walk the rest of the days I could walk around the track. So now I do the hill 3 times when I go out.
Wow.
And the hill is 1.5 miles around. If you walk around, it's 1.5 miles. So I do the hill I can do it 3 times.
So let's put some numbers to this. How much weight have you lost since you started this regime in May?
52 pounds.
52 pounds. Oh, that's almost as old as you are. Wonderful. Wonderful.
And my goal is to be down 8 more by the end of the year. And I know I can do that even with the holidays. I think one of the things people do is they think the holidays I'm going to gain weight.
Yes.
And they just anticipate that I'm going to gain weight. And I went on a 7-day cruise, and I came back from the cruise and I lost 2 pounds. I didn't gain weight on the cruise.
Were you conscious of your eating then, or what do you think led to that?
I still tried to make good choices, and it's just food.
Okay.
It really is. It's really, to me, it's just food. I mean, like even the Christmas meal, we eat those foods all the time. Maybe we're not surrounded by, 20 other family members, and we're, at someone's house and they're offering us food, but we eat those foods all the time. We have access to those foods all the time. We can go to any, Southern cooking or soul food restaurant and get some greens and some dressing and some yams and some macaroni and cheese. So I think the holidays, I think we just kind of psychologically decide that I'm going to overeat. I know I'm going to overeat. I'm going to eat all these cakes and all these pies when we eat that all year round.
Some people would say, I hear Cynthia and she's saying all this good stuff, but there are days when I just fall flat on my face and it seems like I can't do it. And when I have those days where I want to eat the whole pizza instead of a slice, I just give up. I give up. So what would you say to someone who really has these starts and stops and just can't seem to get it together?
I think that we have to rethink the whole idea of being on track, because I don't think that in any aspect of our lives that we're always constantly doing, what we're supposed to be doing. For instance, I was recently visited a friend of mine in Florida, and she makes these homemade candies. Oh my God, and it's amazing. And there's like 3 in a bag. And I remember sitting there one night and I ate probably 2 bags. And then another day, that Sunday, I had some and I brought a bag home with me. I didn't feel any guilt. I felt absolutely no guilt. I ate the candy. And as far as that one day is concerned, what I say to myself, one day of eating did not put that weight on me. So one day of me not staying on course in terms of making great choices is not going to stop what I've done 6 other days.
That's a great way of thinking about it.
And I think that, because I'm not on a diet, there's absolutely no deprivation. I do try to manage what I eat in terms of how it's prepared. One thing my nutritionist has helped me to understand is pairing. And when I do eat, make sure I'm getting the best out of what I'm eating, that I'm getting the greatest benefit, to pair my foods properly. So I'm not going to be hungry as soon as I am. So that my metabolism is, at a rate that it should be. One thing, like you were saying about how people fall off. On the weekends, I tend to just go willy-nilly. And my nutritionist, she told me, she said, what are you doing? Like, you may go out to dinner and you're going out to dinner, you're going to have pizza and beer. But what she suggested I do, she said, during the day, make sure you still continue to eat maybe some proteins so that your metabolism is not crashing. So when you make that horrible choice, that you'll burn it at a rate that you would normally, versus not eating all day or just drinking coffee or, just being, because you're off your routine. I'm off my work routine. I'm a very structured person. I require structure. My day has to look the same for me to do the same thing. And if I get thrown off like on a Saturday or something like that, my whole day can just be thrown off. And so she said, but make sure that you eat some nuts, get you a protein shake. And then you're going to go out and eat your pizza and drink your beer. Go ahead and do it. And it's not a cheat day. Some people like to say, okay, I'm going to have a cheat day.
Right.
I don't have a cheat day, because on any given day, I can still eat that candy. But I think moderation is the key. And a lot of times for me, I'll eat enough to satisfy the craving and get rid of it. If I'm going to have that piece of cake, I want to get rid of. If there's more, here, take it with you. I had guests over and I made a peach cobbler. We had the peach cobbler that Sunday. That Monday, I called a friend of mine who loves peach cobbler. Come get this peach cobbler. Okay. Because if you don't,
right.
Oh my God. Yes, it'll call me.
Yes.
All night.
Yes. So I love this idea about food pairings, because I think typically we're not that in tune with what we eat. We may think about, okay, well, I just need, a salad, but we're not thinking about what goes with it. So what does a typical pairing look like, or how's your nutrition help you think about that? Anytime
I have a protein, I have to have a carb. I should have a carb with it.
Okay.
Now, I keep a diary of what I eat, just to, for her to look at. And if I have a protein, I pair it with a carb. She encourages me to pay attention to the fact that most of my calories are not coming from fat. So I look at the amount of fat that's in the food that I'm eating. Because she explained to me that if I'm getting all these calories from fat, then all that walking I'm doing, I'm just burning off the fat I'm going to intake that day. I'm not going into my reserve fat.
Okay.
So that's another thing I'm conscious of. She really is big on the oils, like olive oil, and she's teaching me different things to use to eliminate the really fatty, not good ones. My calcium. I was concerned because I don't do dairy. So, I was like, well, I don't eat yogurt. I don't drink milk. And so she's helped me to understand you don't have to do that. You can get it from these leafy vegetables, that you don't ever have to have any milk or yogurt. You can get calcium through other sources. And also there's an app that I use, the MyFitnessPal.
Okay. MyFitnessPal
breaks down the nutrition of anything that I put in there. Just say if I do have an apple or a piece of chicken, whatever, a chicken thigh, boneless, skinless thigh, it's going to tell me what percentage of fat, what percentage of protein, and what, everything that's contained in it.
Have you seen that tracking what you're eating helps you understand your nutrition better? Has that made a difference?
Oh, definitely. Because the MyFitnessPal, I absolutely love it. The MyFitnessPal sets a goal for you each day.
Okay.
And I like eggs. And so if my fat is set at, say, 55% that day, and when I eat those 2 eggs, it's going to tell me your goal is 55 and this has this amount. Okay. So you're hitting it really close. So it's an excellent tool.
I have not known you personally, but I've seen you on Facebook, and you've always been fib and fabulous.
Thank you.
So it's exciting to see you at the place where you're even becoming more so with the weight loss. What have you learned about yourself in the past few months where you've made just this great change in your eating and your exercise?
Well, I mean, this is a repeat for me. I've lost weight before. I lost once before I lost 90 pounds, and then I did Weight Watchers and I lost 75. I've always known how to lose weight. I mean, I think we all do.
Sure.
We know how to lose weight. What I understand is not eating doesn't make you lose weight. It's eating proper. You have to eat. I think even if someone has say they have an appetite suppressant, it's not going to make you lose weight. All it's going to do is suppress your appetite. You're going to, if you're still making bad choices, you'll lose the weight, but the pill's not making you lose the weight. The pill's just keeping you from being hungry. What I've learned about me over since May, I think I got a lot of my confidence back as it relates to my ability to do the things that I want to do, even outside of the weight loss. And that's because that's probably more the exercise than the eating. Because that heel, I told my friend, I said, I'm gonna name the heel, and I haven't thought of a name for it yet. But that heel represents everything that I thought I couldn't do.
Wow.
Because what I realize is when you do one thing you think you can't do, you'll start to believe you can do everything.
Yes.
You think you can do anything. If you can conquer that one thing you thought you couldn't do, then you just kind of like, well, you know what? I can do anything. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Another thing with the weight loss for me, I mean, I appreciate and I accept the compliments when people say, how wonderful I look. I was raised by a full-figure mother, so I never had issues of body image. At size 22, I've always thought I was beautiful. My mother taught us to take pride in our appearance and to carry ourselves, with a lot of pride. But I understand, that's not everyone's story. But for me, it's, the way my body looks. I thought it looked pretty great, 52 pounds ago. But yeah, just that whole idea of being able to conquer something.
Yes.
and to take charge and to be in charge of my physical health.
Yes.
And there's some other goals that, because I take high blood pressure medicine, and I would love to not take that medicine anymore. And I can't wait till that day comes when I don't have to take it anymore because I don't like taking it.
I think it's interesting that you talked about you've had cycles before where you've lost weight and then you've gained it. What seems to be key, though, is how you talk about this information of nutrition and how this nutritionist has really helped you. Was that a part of the component in your weight loss in the past?
No. Well, Weight Watchers, they talk about nutrition, but the Weight Watchers nutrition information is typically recipes. And, they change their program so often. Last time I was doing Weight Watchers, they had a point system where everything had a point value and you were assigned points for your daily points. But there was not the encouragement of getting those points from a well-rounded nutrition, So, yeah, the nutrition part is all new to me. I told her recently that I have no idea what I was doing in school when we learned about nutrition. I don't have a clue what I was doing. And the nutrition has been key for me. Just really understanding what, what's in the different foods that I eat. I know a lot of times when they say I'm going to start eating better, the first thing we'll do is eat a salad. And that's one of the easiest ways in the world to hide calories and fat, just by the things that we put on the green lettuce. So, and I don't even eat very many salads, but I love my green vegetables. And one of the things that she's encouraged me to do is try different things. So I've tried vegetables that I wouldn't normally cook. I've, just since May, I cooked Brussels sprouts for the first time. Yes, and I love them. And I buy fresh green beans and squash, and I tried eggplant, and I'm never going to eat it again if I can help it.
Okay.
But when I go into the store, I look for different vegetables to try.
Sure.
Yeah.
I asked that question because, I think about sustainability, and in the future, for those of us who are coming behind you and who are really trying to get on track, and who've had some yo-yo results as well, sometimes I want to say, what is it this time that makes a difference for me and that helps me get over the hump and stay on a consistent road? And it just seems like that nutrition piece is such a big part of it, and it's provided real information for you on your journey.
And another thing, I cook. I don't mind cooking. It's never a chore to me. I can cook every day. I know what I'm going to have for dinner today. I knew last night what I was going to have for dinner today.
What are you having for dinner today?
I'm going to have liver and onions.
Okay.
And I'll probably get some fresh green beans, and I'll have a rice.
Okay.
Or potatoes. But one thing that's been important to me is I like for my food to taste good. I like for my food to look good. I use a lot of peppers for color, and I put my food on my plate, and I live alone. But I sit down at my table. I only eat my meals at the table. I sit down at the table and I eat my meal. I don't eat in front of the television. There's no phones at the table. And I sit down and I enjoy my food. And I think that's beneficial because I'm concentrating on the food. And, when I'm there by myself. But if I have company, of course, we're engaged. And I like for my food to taste good. And that's another thing the nutritionist has done. She's introduced me to different things that I can use to make the food, give the food the flavor without the added fat.
I want to circle back because one of the things that you said initially was your discovery that the medicine that you was taking for the chemotherapy you were taking was one reason you were gaining weight. And you've been a breast cancer survivor for 5 years?
No. I was supposed to take the pill for 5 years.
Okay.
Only 2.
Okay.
Only 2 years.
Okay. Were you afraid of getting off of that and the repercussions maybe?
I gave it a whole lot of thought because I never wanted to take it in the first place. And like I explained to my doctor, I said, okay, this pill, the only thing this pill is designed to do is to keep cancer from coming back in my breast. That's the only thing it can do, is keep the cancer from coming back in my breast. And we know that cancer in the breast has never killed anyone. I can't die from cancer in my breast. The cancer has to metastasize. So you're telling me that this can only stop the cancer from coming back in my breast. I mean, that's really not, that doesn't offer me a whole lot of, you know what I mean? Consolation, because it can come anywhere in my body. And what is this 5-year mark? What happens to me after 5 years? And you just drop me? So, and then I thought about it. I said, as many women that are being diagnosed with cancer, if I come up with this pill and I can give it to all these women for 5 years, look at the money that I can make as a pharmaceutical. One of the reasons that kind of contributed to this was an article that I saw on the Zammy Noble page. And it was a lady that she said that she realized, I can't remember her name, I'm so sorry, that she said she realized she was old enough to die. And how she was not going to spend her days in doctor's offices and being scanned and poked and, all that. Right. So, and I told my doctor, I said, I'm not going to be pimped out by pharmaceuticals, tricking me like I'm going to live forever. My biggest thing is, and even with the breast cancer, not even a fear of dying. I don't want to be sick. I want to feel okay. And I understand that even chemotherapy makes you sick, makes you feel bad. So why would I want to feel bad? I don't want to feel bad. I want to feel good. I don't like the feeling of not feeling like myself. And anything that hinders that, anything that, gets in the way of that, why would I put it in my body? So, like I said, thinking about the whole idea of, okay, I made a decision to stop taking this pill, and 10 years from now, if the cancer comes back, then I think it was probably going to come back anyway.
One of the things that I think is just as difficult to get women to talk about outside of weight loss and the actual numbers of what we weigh is breast cancer, because I've seen, cancer, certainly, but breast cancer, especially with Black women, and then talking about our target audience of Black lesbians, and knowing that Zammy Noble has done so much research and continues to do research in the area of breast health. What seems to be key with both of those groups, women who are trying to manage weight and women who are dealing with breast cancer, seems to be community and support. Where's your support come from in both of those areas? Where did you find your support as you were living through the breast cancer diagnosis and the treatment, and now as you're managing your health better?
Well, with the breast cancer, I had amazing support from friends and family. There were like people just kind of came out of nowhere, literally, just, to be there. And my situation was unique in the sense that my mom died suddenly 5 days after I had my surgery.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of overshadowed the breast cancer. Me and going through the breast cancer treatment was kind of like a side dish to the biggest thing that had happened to me, and that was my mom dying. Right. So that was the breast cancer, going through the treatment. And my story was also unique in the sense that I started chemo, and my second treatment, I had an allergic reaction. So we determined that I'm allergic to the chemo drug Taxotere. And so I almost died trying to have the chemo. So at that point, I stopped it, and I opted to not have any more. So I only had one treatment. But like I said, I had friends, family, my cousins.
Did you have a hard time telling people of your breast cancer diagnosis?
Oh, no. I told my mother first. I didn't, and the people who were important to me. I've always been pretty out in the open about, things that were going on with me. I didn't say anything publicly, like on Facebook, until quite some time, because I didn't want my mom to be bombarded with, with phone calls, because I'm from a small town. You know, one of my high school friends sees it. They tell their mother calls my mom, oh, Charlie Ann, how's Cindy? You know, and I didn't want her to, I wanted her to have that space to kind of work it out, you know, however, you know, whatever felt best for her. But I did not tell my dad. I never verbalized it to my father.
Why is that?
Because I think he would have just processed it as that I was dying. And I don't think he would have. I just think he would have just said, okay, you know.
What about your support for the weight management? What type of structure do you have for that type of support?
Oh, I have my cheerleading squad that, you know, like my best friend, she called me this morning, asked me, did I go walking? And they just celebrate every little achievement, every little accomplishment. We, you know, woo-hoo-hoo. The people I surround myself, they're very supportive, very supportive. Every now and then I'll have people go, we're getting ready to go eat or something, and they'll go, oh, can you eat that? Yes. But I realize they're trying to be accommodating. You know, well, maybe we won't go here if you don't want to go here. You know, we can go here. But they're, you know, trying to be accommodating. Another piece with me and the taking control of my eating, I probably eat out probably 90% less than I used to. I used to dine out during the week, on the weekends. I know all the good places to eat, all the good places. And I'm always looking for something, you know, somewhere else that's really, really great. But I don't eat out as much. Even on a Sunday where I might, you know, get out of church or whatever and go out to dinner. I'll cook at home. I keep food at home. As long as I have everything I need, it's not a problem for me to make a meal.
So I'm taking note of this. You don't eat out a lot. You have a well-stocked pantry and kitchen, so you know you have healthy food. You are making great choices. You've gotten information from a nutritionist. You're aware of what you're eating, especially with a MyFitnessPal. And the fact that you're exercising and taking on that hill. Those seems to be, as I'm taking note, the things that have really made this successful for you this year.
Definitely.
Have I missed anything? Because I want to take good notes because I want to follow suit.
Well, you know, there's some things I said I wouldn't eat that I eat.
Okay.
I would never even go to the store and buy the boneless, skinless thighs. Because I like bone in because, you know, you got more flavor.
Okay.
Boneless, skinless breast. And now I eat those things. And so, especially the boneless, skinless thighs, I just thought they were flavorless. But I found ways to, different marinades and stuff to make them tasty, to make them taste good to me. And I'm not always thinking about food, but I'm always thinking about what I'm going to eat. Whenever I leave my house, I have something in my hand. I have some food in my hand.
Okay.
There's always something in my car. There's an apple. There's a banana. There's some almonds. Because if I get hungry, I want to eat that.
I gotcha.
Even if it's eating that until I get to my meal. I want to have something. Because just say, for instance, if the days that I do go into the office, there's always some change in my drawer or my, you know, the person beside me that I can go to the vending machine. So if I keep things with me, then I'll eat what I have. When I started, I cleared out the pantry. I totally cleared out the pantry. And something happened and someone left some sugary cereal at my house. Someone had guests. I was making the biggest bowls of Frosted Flakes. Yes, and enjoying it. And I remember, like, there was probably like 3 more servings left. And I said, you know what? This is ridiculous. And I crumbled it up and I just put them in the trash. I said, I can't do this. Because I was making it was like probably 4 servings. And, you know, we've as a society gotten, I think, a distorted idea of what a serving looks like.
Yes.
Even with dining out, and that's the thing with dining out too, the larger the servings, we tend to want to go to those places because they give really great large servings, and it may be 5, 6 servings. And so I really practice gauging what a true serving looks like.
Right.
What a serving of meat looks like. What a serving of what a half a cup. When I look at if I cook something, that's another thing about the MyFitnessPal. It has an app on there that I can build a recipe. So I can put all the ingredients that I'm getting ready to put in whatever it is that I'm making, and it'll come back and tell me the nutritional value or the amount of calories per serving. So the only thing I have to do is just really be honest about my servings. And I think that's a lot of it, being honest about our servings. And a lot of people that I see and talk to who want to lose weight, one of the main things I hear is they don't eat. They're not eating enough. My nutritionist wants me to eat something every 3 hours. Every 3 hours I should be eating. And I think we're hardwired to believe that I shouldn't be eating if I want to lose weight.
Right.
But you've got to eat. And I think a lot of people, especially people who aren't necessarily don't really have a weight problem, because I think there's a big difference in someone who needs to lose weight and someone who has a weight problem.
Yes.
I've always battled with a weight problem. And then you got people who may be 15 pounds overweight, or as they got older, they've started to gain weight. I don't think that constitutes a weight problem. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people who are like that, if they would eat more, and make better choices with their meals, you can lose that extra 15 pounds.
That is so true. And I know there are a lot of sisters in the amen corner with you on that, because especially as we look at menopause and as women enter menopause, what often accompanies that is the fact that we gain weight. And it's hard if you're going into it with extra weight. The likelihood of you getting that extra weight off can be very daunting if you're not doing what you've just noted. And what we've said is very crucial for those of us who want to be successful with our weight management. You said something earlier that I found to be very poignant as you were talking about how you grew up caring for your grandmother with her daily needs of getting dressed and hygiene and all this other stuff. And then as you introduce yourself, talking about being a very nurturing, caring person. And it made me think of how so much of who we are comes from what we've experienced as children, what we've learned from our environments, and just the importance of really having the type of information and experiences that make it possible for us to be the best that we can be, and how all of the things around us really shape us. So I think being in a community of sisters and having women who can support and who are on the journey as well, and sharing best recipes, sharing a commitment to sustainable weight loss, and sharing what we know, and getting rid of bad information and gathering new information so that we can be the best we can be, really seems to be key in success.
And I agree. I think it's very important as it relates to community that we do share information, that we do get rid of the bad information.
What's the takeaway today as we are winding down towards the end of this just really wonderful conversation with you? What do you want folks to take away from our time today?
One thing that I don't like for people to do is beat themselves up when they feel like they're not doing the same thing that someone else is doing. And I know for a fact that, like me, when I'm ready, I do it. And I think that's for everybody else. When you make up your mind, when you make a decision that this is what you're going to do and you're going to commit to it, then that's when you're going to do it. We can't continue to start on Monday. I'm not sure why Monday is the great day for everybody to start their diet or to start doing better. We can't put off till after the holidays, or losing weight for my class reunion, losing weight for my 50th, those events, because it's a journey. It's a journey, and it really requires a lifestyle change, and to think differently about food and about nutrition.
Well, I am so glad you have made the great choice to be our guest today and to share a part of your healthy journey as a way of really helping those of us who are on track but have not yet gotten to our full throttle to be inspired and to get some more information and to hear about someone who is doing it as well as you are. And we just celebrate you today as we celebrate all the many wonderful things that have happened this year in 2018. So thank you for being part of our Black Lesbian Herstory.
Thank you for having me.
Some of the best comments are usually the ones you capture after you've pressed the stop button. I had a wonderful conversation with Cynthia McKinney, and she said something before she left. She said, I wish I would have told the woman how important it is to celebrate each success, be it great or small, and how even the loss of 1 pound can be celebrated. Isn't that the truth? Be they great or small, each success we make towards better living, better health is something to be celebrated. I hope that as you look back over this year, 2018, you count up all those wonderful small and big steps that you've made towards reaching your optimal goals. If you have enjoyed this and other Zambi Nobla episodes, then I encourage you to go to iTunes and write a review and give us a 5-star rating. Because you're a 5-star listener, and we want to make sure that we continue to produce content that encourages you to be the best you can be. This has been a great year for us. We've had great success with our podcast and look forward to doing even more great shows in 2019 and hope you'll stay along for the ride. As always, thanks for listening. And as we get ready to enter this new year of 2019, I wish the best for you. Make it a sweet one.